Hey everybody, Kevin Duffy here of the Boston Herald, joined by Guregian, Patriots beat columnist. Pats put on the pads today for day 3 of training camp, and they cut the practice extremely short. Might have been the shortest practice I've ever seen. There was about an hour of competitive work.
Of nothingness.
Pretty much of nothingness. Sony Michel returned, didn't do too much in terms of competitive team drills. Isaiah Wynn, same deal for him at left tackle, really working him in slowly. It was Joe Tooney during the contact portion of practice. And David Andrews returned, but wasn't in pads, so he kind of stood to the side and watched.
Tom Brady was back.
Tom Brady was back after his day off, and it was a little rusty for the passing game at points. He missed Rex Burkhead and Steven Anderson on a couple of passes to the flat, but overall there just weren't many reps, so I don't want to take too much away from this practice other than the who was here, who wasn't, that type of thing. Before the session started, though, Nick Caserio held a press conference, which is...
That's where all the fireworks were.
That's a little more fun, so let's talk about that. Karen was at that press conference, and Caserio came into this season after his drama with the Texans, and everyone knows he's on the last year of his contract. No one's sure what exactly is going to happen after this year. So what did you take away from his comments this morning?
Well, first, just a quick little bit of backdrop. We never see Nick Caserio at a press conference at this time of year.
Right. It's pre-draft and that's it.
Yeah, it's usually for the draft and then that's it. We see him here out in the field, throwing passes, taking part in training camp drills. We see him at games. He's like an eye in the sky. But do we ever talk to Nick Caserio? No, we don't. So that's why it was kind of unusual to see him trot it out. And what did Nick Caserio say? Nothing. He didn't. He didn't even address the Texans by name. He dodged all questions, and he basically threw a ton of bouquets the Patriots' way, talking about how much he loved being here. He loved his job. Yada, yada, yada. And my take, after all the bouquets were being thrown and in the dodging of all the questions, he's probably gone when his contract's up.
Yeah, and that can all be true in terms of how much he respects the Patriots. He started out here in 2001. He's been here since the beginning, out of college in John Carroll. He's developed his respect for Belichick, his respect for the Krafts and the organization. He's developed his whole career here. That you can feel that way and also not want to stay here the rest of your life. He really might be, just the way things went with the Texans this offseason, it's clear that he had some interest in that job. And the Texans didn't fill their GM job, so they're going through this season without a general manager. So anyone connecting the dots can look at it and say, they're probably just waiting for his contract to expire. He's going to go next year.
Right, and who can blame him, And the Texans might just be an appealing job. He knows the people there. He certainly knows the head coach, Bill O'Brien. They're very tight. So it looks perhaps at the end of his deal, which is oddly after the draft, he might be, or if they work something out here, he'll be joining the Texans.
We will see what happens with that. We'll be back with you guys for day 4 of training camp tomorrow. Hopefully there's a little bit more news on the field, a little bit more to talk about. Then you can find all our coverage on bostonherald.com. Thanks for watching.